The fog rolled in like a silent thief, stealing the familiar landmarks of the harbor town. Sarah, bundled in a worn coat, squinted through the swirling mist. Her breath came out in white puffs, a stark contrast to the gray world around her. She was late. Again. The old lighthouse keeper wouldn't be pleased, but the storm last night had been brutal, waves crashing against the weathered pier like angry fists. Suddenly, a sound pierced the silence, a rhythmic thud, faint but unmistakable. Footsteps. Heart hammering in her chest, Sarah strained to see through the fog. There, a dark figure, barely a silhouette, moving purposefully towards the lighthouse. Panic seized her. The lighthouse keeper lived alone. Who could it be at this hour, in this weather? Ignoring the prickling fear on her skin, Sarah quickened her pace. The closer she got, the more the figure took shape. Tall, broad-shouldered, a stranger. He reached the lighthouse door, raised a hand to knock. Sarah called out, her voice swallowed by the fog. He turned, a flicker of surprise crossing his face. Relief washed over her. Just a traveler, lost perhaps. Lost, are you? She asked, her voice shaky. The man squinted at her. Indeed, took a wrong turn and ended up in this pea soup. His voice was gruff, laced with a hint of amusement. The lighthouse keeper lives alone, Sarah explained, her voice regaining its strength. Best not to bother him at this ungodly hour. He chuckled, a low rumble. Fair enough, though, a cup of something warm wouldn't go amiss. Sarah hesitated. Taking a stranger home was unheard of, especially in this weather, but something about him, a glint in his eye perhaps, made her offer. There's tea at my place. Follow me, if you dare. He followed, his footsteps echoing hers in the fog. As they walked, Sarah stole glances at him. There was a hidden tension in his movements, a guardedness that sent shivers down her spine. Reaching her small cottage, she ushered him in, the warmth a welcome contrast to the chilling mist. He removed his wet coat, revealing a worn travel bag slung over his shoulder. As he sipped his tea, his eyes darted around the room, lingering a little too long on the lone photograph on the mantelpiece, a picture of Sarah and the lighthouse keeper, a younger version of him, his arm draped casually around her shoulders. A cold dread filled Sarah's stomach. The pieces clicked into place, the stranger's arrival, the hidden tension, his gaze at the picture. He wasn't lost, he was here for the lighthouse keeper. Just then, a loud creak echoed from the floorboards above. The stranger's hand instinctively went to his pocket. Sarah knew what he was reaching for. Thinking fast, she lunged, knocking the mug from his hand. Scalding tea splashed, scalding him and creating a momentary distraction. Seizing the opportunity, Sarah grabbed a poker from the fireplace and brandished it at him. Don't you dare! The man cursed, surprise flashing across his face. He lunged for the bag, but Sarah was quicker. A desperate struggle ensued, the small cottage filled with the sounds of their fight. Suddenly, the door burst open. The lighthouse keeper stood there, his weathered face etched with concern. He took in the scene, then with a swift movement, disarmed the stranger. The fog outside seemed to thin slightly, as if revealing the truth. The stranger, subdued, was taken away by the authorities. Later, wrapped in a blanket, Sarah watched the fog slowly clear, revealing the familiar silhouette of the lighthouse. The lighthouse keeper, his arm around her, squeezed her hand gently. Thank you, Sarah, you were braver than you know. Sarah shivered, not just from the cold, but from the memory of the footsteps in the fog. The mystery had been solved, but the chilling encounter served as a stark reminder of the secrets the fog could hide.